मुनीन्द्र वृंद वंदिते त्रिलोकशोकहारिणि प्रसन्न वक्त्र पंकजे निकुंज भूविलासिनि ब्रजेन्द्र भानुनंदिनि ब्रजेन्द्र सूनु संगते कदा करिष्यसि मां कृपा कटाक्ष भाजनम. That was Goddess Radha. N.T. Ramarao, in Ups and Downs revised edition, I have given at page 144. His ascendant is Libra, degrees are 1913.
Now that I gave you what true notice, but this is the mean note. If you use mean, then it could be a difference there. I gave you the true notice.
I see. It's okay. Anyway, nearest to it. Moon is 1850. N.T. Ramarao's. And Jupiter is 1832. See the Jupiter, Moon and Lagna, how close they are in the same Navansha. And Rahu exactly on that point. In Vishwa Vijaya Panchang, where I give annual predictions in Hindi in India, I had already written that N.T. Ramarao will stage a comeback. 10th December I reached Delhi back from India, and N.T. Ramarao once again swept the polls and became the Chief Minister. Absolute majority. So now, sorry. So when you say sickness, loss of physical energy, what does it mean? That is one way of looking at it. But I don't take that as always correct. I have seen just the reverse. And latest example I am giving you, I returned from India, landed in Delhi, and election results come out. For us it means a big thing in India now. And a major South Indian state captured by a non-Congress party, by N.T. Ramarao, and Rahu exactly on his moon. Second house, loss of money. Money from foreign countries, I found this better. From foreign countries. Third house, happiness. Loss to mother is also noticed. Fourth, unhappiness, generally true. Fifth, loss of money. Well, loss of sense of discrimination is what I have noticed. Mati Bhram, as we call it. Sixth house, happiness. Serious sickness has come to our notice. Yesterday, Dr. Charak in medical astrology did cover this point. I just happened to walk into that room, and he was just referring to this point. So in the sixth house, all the books say it's very good, but I have seen in the sixth house it is causing sickness also. Seventh house, many tragedies. But a major research is being produced by a friend of ours which disproves it. But serious sickness to the spouse has come to our notice. Okay. Eighth house. Death like agony. Rahu proves bad for mother. This is one of the finest Nadi principles. One of the finest Nadi principles. Rahu in the 8th house from your moon, and at that time if anything is wrong with your mother, be careful. Pardon? Pardon? Rahu in the 8th house from your moon. If during that period there is anyone in the family, particularly mother, sick, be careful. loss, 9th house loss, but instead of that I have seen foreign travel. I have not seen a single horoscope in my life in which in the birth horoscope there is Rahu in the 9th house and the man has not gone to foreign country. Tenth house gain, yes it could be. 11th house fortunate period, mostly so. 12th house expenditure, well it's a very loose generalization. I have not found it always correct. Then Ketu, no specific guidelines are generally available about the results of Ketu. Some people treat it as another Mars and some like Rahu. Lot of original results will have to be done. Now I have given you, I will quickly now go through this. Before that I will answer one question of yours. In Vedic astrology, the birth constellation of the nakshatra is the most important factor for calculating Vinshuti Dasha. A person was born in, you know that. The birth nakshatra, the abbreviation we will use henceforth is BN, is made use of for transits also with specific indications about its results with regard to a particular part of the body or limb, and other results are to be read from it. I particularly feel that this should be a very brilliant area for medical research. I told Dr. Cherak I would give him about 8 or 9 chakras, and if those chakras can be unraveled for medical astrology, it will be a very brilliant area. So Janma Nakshatra, generally I say make use of it for very specific prediction about ailment. That will be very good. So I am just giving an idea. The number of, note the number of your birth star. Suppose you are born in Mrikshira, its number is 5. Start counting from this point and treat it as number 1 to understand the effects of planets given below. You know, count from your birth star 1, 2, 3, 4. What are the effects? Pardon? Moon. Find out the number of your, well, your birth star number has to be either 7, 8 or 9, it is 9. So 9 is 1 for you. 10 is 2. 11 is 3. Okay? You begin to count from here. You put 9 here. You put your 9 here. You put here your birth star number. So now you know the order.
Say one more time. Say that one more time.
You take the number of your birth star. Right? What is your number? 11. Now you put 11 here. So 11 represents face for you. 12, 13, 14, 15 head. 16, 17, 18, 19 chest. You are very rightly pointing out yesterday you find contradiction. But instead of contradiction, suppose you treat it as part of medical astrology. Now it will resolve. It doesn't become a contradiction. I treat it as part of medical astrology, and generally I have found it very correct. Many people come and ask me about their ailment. I say go to Dr. Cherak. I can tell you the period of ailment, but which part will be afflicted. 3 or 4 times I had to tell people, and of course it came out correct. But then I don't have good knowledge of human anatomy. So I said, why should I dabble into this area? But this is a great area in which you can do research. Put your Janma Nakshatra here and rest of it follows. I need not elaborate this point because I have given you the tables. I'll take one by one quickly. Now eyes, NS, NL. According to this scheme, the transit of Sun is bad when he is on the BN and when he is transiting from the 7th to the 10th house on the birth moon. Again when he is in the 12th house on the birth moon. The subtlety introduced here is that when Sun is toward the end of the 10th house on the birth moon and is advancing toward the 11th house, only then good results are to be expected. That is the beauty of this transit. That is where you can reconcile. In other words, suppose your moon is 2 degrees in Libra. Which is the 10th house? Cancer. So, from 2 degrees, Cancer, it is not going to give you results. But once it has crossed 20 degrees, is advancing towards the 11th house, then it begins to give you results. That is how it goes on. Now, concentrate on the moon. When you are giving psychological advice to people, doing counseling, this transit of moon and the timing of event will be useful. I have given you the charts, you may go through this. I don't think I should repeat it. I can stop it here and now answer 2 or 3 questions of yours. The first question asked was, in the morning I talked about Hora and how is a Hora divided into 3 parts. That's the question asked. Right? If the duration of the Hora is for 1 hour, if you divide 1 hour into 3 parts, each part will be for 20 minutes. Now suppose, what is the time now? 12:12. Suppose at 12:12 a particular Hora begins. So 12:12 to 12:32, the first part of the Hora will be continuing. 12:32 to 12:52, the second part of the Hora will continue. So 20 minutes you divide, then up to 1:12, the third part of Hora. Is it clear?
What planet rules during those 3 increments?
Pardon?
What are the planet rulers of those 3 increments?
Well, I have to go into Prashna Kundali to answer that. That is not my subject I am covering. That is in the Hora astrology that is made use of. But Hora is made use of mainly, as I told you, in Astakvarga the Hora principle is followed. In Prashna Kundali it is not the Hora principle, it is Hora subdivided into 3 parts, and the exact Mukha Prashna or the question you have come with to the astrologer.
So there are sub-rulers.
Sub-rulers, 3 rulers.
Are they fixed or changing?
It's a long big table is there, fixed. I have not brought it here with me, but it is a long big table. What are the other questions? Now you can ask me questions before we. What time is the lunch? 12:30. What time is lunch time? 12:30. Okay, huh?
The information that you gave us on interpretations of the transits from the moon, could we take the same interpretations for transits from the Lagna?
Yes, very easily. Good question. Her question is, the interpretations given here about transit from the moon, could that be extended to interpreting transits from the Lagna? I say positively yes.
What about this other system of interpretation of transits based on the power system, such as Jhana, Sampada, Vipassana?
I didn't get the question.
There's another system of interpretation of transits based on a power system, such as Jhana, Sampada, Vipassana.
I'll come to that, but that is mainly made use of first is Vinshottari Dasha. You know from any birth star 1, 3, 5, 7 are bad. That is the principle which Dr. Charak has dealt with elaborately in his medical astrology. 1, 3, 5, 7. So similarly, in the case of Vinshottari Dasha, the third Dasha, the fifth Dasha and the seventh Dashas are generally dreaded. So transits also in the nakshatras which are third from your birth moon, fifth from your birth moon and seventh from your birth moon are dreaded, which means you can make a table. Actually, it's a very heavy subject, Gochar. But since you have done medical astrology, it becomes easy for you now. Dr. Charak's book is available. Now, Ketu. Vinshottari Dasha, you start with Ashwini. 1. Venus. Sun. Moon. Mars. Rahu. Jupiter. Saturn. Mercury. Now this is the order. 1, 3, 5, 7. Now you write it like this. You can prepare your own table. From Ketu, the first is Ketu, third is the Sun, fifth is Mars, seventh is Jupiter. So from Venus, the third is Moon, 1, 2, 3. That is 2, 3, 4. Clear? No. From the Moon you count. Second, from Venus you count. 1, 2, 3. Then count up to 5. Then up to 7. So you make your own tables for all 9. Now, one of the theories is when planets are transiting in the third, in the fifth, in the seventh, from your Janma Nakshatra, but it is happening so often. Don't overemphasize transits. It is every year these transits are taking place, and every year man is not suffering tragedies. But it is there, one of the principles. But better is in the Vinshottari Dasha system, in the period of sickness or in the calculation of longevity or Ayu, 1, 3, 5, 7. First Dasha, third Dasha, fifth Dasha and seventh Dasha give you very good idea. That's the very sound principle. In the interpretation of Vinshottari Dasha, I will definitely say yes, don't neglect it. In the case of transits, don't overdo this. It is happening every year all the time, except Saturn, Jupiter and Rahu All other planets are covering those 1, 3, 5, 7 every year. So don't overemphasize. But that is a sound principle, the question you asked. Well, any other question?
Is there a rationale for this, Mr. Rao? Why 3, 1, 3, 5, 7?
I don't know anything about the rationale, but the word used is Sampat, Vipat, etc. by Brihat Parashara. In Vedic astrology, we take these things as axioms, we see them working, not failing.
The Saturn's Sadesati, the effect from Lagna.
No. Sadesati is to be taken purely from the moon only. Sadesati has no relation with the Lagna. Sadesati is 2.5 years behind the moon, on the moon, and in the house next to the moon.
Transiting malefics are generally give good results in houses that are Upachaya houses coming from the moon. Would it be the case that transiting Saturn, although not in an Upachaya house, casting its glance by transit into an Upachaya house?
Beautiful question, and you correct. That's correct. The question is 3, 6, 10, 11, etc. in these houses when Saturn is either transiting or is aspecting. Will it give good results? I will generally say yes. Any other question?
There's going to be great modification of a transit when it's transiting over natal planets. Are you going to be covering that at all? All of these things would happen.
No, I will not be able to cover that. The question is a very good question. When a particular planet is transiting over another planet, naturally that has to modify the result. That is the question. But I will not be able to cover it because that will take 1 month. If I have to cover it, then I will have to take 300-400 horoscopes and show you the difference. So instead of doing that, I always work more on the Mahadasha, because it narrows down and specifies it better. If you keep on taking the transit of planets over other planets, there is no end to it.
Let's say somebody would have Taurus Lagna, and the moon is in Taurus, and right now the Jupiter is in Scorpio, yet let's say Saturn right now is crossed over to Meena, Pisces. Would the aspect, let's say, of Jupiter on Saturn modify
Yes.
for good or for
Yes. Actually, in transit also, when one planet is aspecting another planet, it begins to modify the results. Before we go for lunch, I will pose that question to you, give you 5 minutes to meditate and answer. Why is it that K.N. Rao is speaking in an ashram in America and teaching you astrology? K.N. Rao's ascendant is Libra and moon is also in Libra. 5 minutes I will give you. Today's transits, you know? You know the planetary position? Please note down. Jupiter is in Scorpio. Saturn is in Aquarius. Sorry, Pisces. Rahu is in Libra. Mars is in Leo. Sun, Venus, Mercury are in Taurus. Taurus. So this is a puzzle. Moon today is in Libra. Now answer this question. Why and how is it that I am talking in an ashram in a foreign country about astrology?
Well, both Jupiter and Saturn are aspecting the ruler of the ninth house.
Right, one. Any other this thing? Take the total transit. Has anyone any answer? Shall I explain? Yes.
Mercury is the 12th and 9th lord,
Good.
conjunct the first lord Venus in the 8th house, and the 8th house could be an option. Well,
Could be.
could be, well, it's 12th from the 9th. Could be in an ashram.
Partly correct. Partly correct. Yes.
In terms of the speech making and whether it's well received, you have Venus,
Correct. Okay.
Mercury aspecting second house Guru transit.
Right. Correct. She says because speech making is there, planets are all concentrated on my second house. Jupiter, Sun, Venus, Mercury, therefore speech making going on. But my specific question is why in the ashram?
Those planets converse in the ninth house from your natal sun.
Pardon?
In the ninth house from your natal sun. And also ninth house from your natal ninth lord.
Anyway, that is again partly correct. My question is ashram temple, Lakshana Murthy right in front of me.
Ashram is 12, temple is 9, so Mercury rules both.
Right. And again, only you have got all answers, only one more I want. Just one more.
Saturn aspect on the 12th lord.
No, you people have got almost everything correct, but one basic important point is what you are missing. A soldier went to a battlefield. After the war was over, he wanted to take some war trophies back home. So he took the lower part of the dead bodies and showed to his wife. He wanted to prove that he was a great hero. The wife asked him what happened to the head. He said someone had already chopped it off. So what happens is, in astrology, unless you first of all focus your attention on that head, this focal point of the question, remaining all things will not get clarified. I asked you the question, I started, why is it in an ashram, in a temple? Therefore, I will make it easy for you by telling you, Jupiter and Sun represent the temple.
Yeah.
Okay? Jupiter is aspecting the Sun.
Yeah.
From my Lagna, the 12th Lord, Mercury is also there. So a temple in a foreign country, there I am making a speech. Jupiter, Sun are important planets to be seen for temple building combinations, church, synagogue, temple, mosque, anything.
Even if they're not in Leo and Aquarius.
Even if they are not in Leo and Aquarius, anywhere that activity goes on. So Jupiter Sun combination is what you have to see here. अब हो गया हम लोग का टाइम लंच का. अच्छा. So now you understand Jupiter Sun combination, right?
That's the question I had was last time you said Jupiter and Sun combination is building, but you needed to have the Aquarius.
When in the birth horoscope or Navansha, when it is happening across Aquarius and Leo, then it is a very long, big activity as happened in my case, because it is so in my Navansha. I have been associated with more than 100 such religious institutions in my life.
But if there's no Aquarius, Leo...
Even otherwise, some participation will be there, because Jupiter and Sun essentially are temples. Temples means place of worship. It can be a mosque, it can be a synagogue. So Jupiter, Sun aspecting each other along with the 12th Lord. Yes. Pardon?
Will you be covering in more detail the Veda's theory of aspects, cancellation,
Veda. When I go to Astak Varga, I will show you these Vedas become very ineffective. It is better in the second half. I think Beth has prepared it. तैयार कर लिया होगा उन्होंने तो pardon handouts will be ready. So in the second half when I take it up, you see, because I will show you the modern interpretations like this, that will be more useful to you. If you take Veda really is not working very effectively. So Veda is working and if Veda is getting cancelled, I have not worked much on it, and I will not ask also you to devote much attention to that, because Veda you are taking only from the moon. Astak Varga you are taking from all planets, so which is more scientific. You understand that? So I will want to give more examples of that type, so where you are able to get someone's horoscope and see it in totality instead of seeing it only from the moon or only seeing from the Janma Nakshatra. Up to this part, what I have covered is from the moon or the Janma Nakshatra. Now I am not going to repeat that anymore.
I have a question. In your book on children and planets and children, you have mentioned the importance of the blessing of Shani, Guru, Puja, and Chandra.
Right.
For the fructification of the fifth house, right? Okay. Now, would the same principle of these four planets, the blessing of these four planets, would be necessary for the fructification of another bhava?
Yes. I have given enough instances, other bhavas also, for marriage also.
All the bhavas?
Yes.
Could you comment on the use of the nakshatra lords and sun lords in the interpretation of the transits?
Nakshatra Lord.
And sublords?
You see, why go into Nakshatra Lord and the Sub Lord and interpretation? Because actually there is a very fine, that is known as the Nadi principle, and it has been elaborated in Krishnamurti Paddhati. So don't go into that, because that is what I am not covering here. She is writing a book, Sasri Kaur. So I want her to produce it fast, because if you go into Nakshatra Lord and the Sub Lord, then I will not be able to go into some other aspects of this and Astak Varga, which I want to cover for you here.
Qualitative difference in general between transits to the Lagna or to the...
Pardon?
We know this is a qualitative difference just in general between transits to the Lagna or transits to the Moon.
Beautiful question. Thank you so much. I should have covered it. It's my mistake. Her question is, what is the quality of difference in transits from the Lagna and from the moon? I talked about the Sudarshan Chakra principle. Remember that sun, moon, lagna. Right? In the cases of those persons who have lagna in one Rashi, moon in another Rashi, and sun in the another Rashi, that is 3 different places, the Sudarshan Chakra works miraculously. In the case of those like me who have them only in 2 Rashis, it gives only 30-40% results. In the case of those who have all the 3 in one, it is almost not working. Now, a very important question she has put. Lagna represents the body, moon represents the mind. That every happy event or unhappy event in your life is finally psychosomatic. Man jeeta to jag jeeta. Who said that? Guru Nanak. Man jeeta to jag jeeta. If you have conquered your mind, you have conquered the world. What you call happiness is your personal definition. What you call unhappiness, again your personal definition. You are a conformist. So if everyone in New York says if you are a millionaire, you are a happy man, you want to become a millionaire. Right? Now, go and see the yogis in India who live under a tree whole of their lives. What they will eat tomorrow they do not know. They don't care. They will not fall into your definition of happiness because they have now transcended these limitations. Otherwise, a transiting planet is all the time affecting your mood and your body. Mood is the moon, body is the lagna. Correct? What specifically is your problem when you have gone to an astrologer, and what is the psychosomatic origin of a problem? You will take 1 hour's time to sit down and analyze your horoscope and you can find out yourself. This is affecting your mind, therefore it is affecting your body. 80% of all your ailments originate here. It may be more than 80%, I don't know. Why moon is taken is for this very reason. Why moon is taken? Because psycho. Mentally a man is getting affected. That is why in Vedic astrology moon becomes the real pivot for all transit results. The mind is affecting the body. But the lagna, now one point, sorry, every time I came to that and I stopped there somehow. You take the degree of your moon in your horoscope and put the exact degree in the 8th house from the moon. Am I clear? No. Is that clear to everyone? Take the degree of the moon and put the same degree in the 8th house from the moon. Okay? Take the degree of your ascendant and put it exactly in the 8th house from the ascendant. What you have done in the case of the ascendant is known as the 22nd Dresh Korna, which Dr. Charak would have covered in medical astrology. 22nd, Dresh Kona, that is the 8th house from the Lagna. 8th house is known as the 64th Navansha. 6-4. That is also covered in medical astrology. That is why transits in the 8th house are always to be watched a little carefully. It is for this reason. Second, you remember Sade Sati. Sade Sati can be good, Sade Sati can be bad. So 64th Navansha, 22nd Dresh Kona, Sade Sati, but primarily Dasha and Antardasha. If they dominate, these transits will come and go, they will not do much damage. But if they become bad and the transits are bad, then the damage is there. So how do you balance this? I will come give examples from Mastak Orga and show to you. So we can go now, come back after lunch.